Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another Indie Game Friday, where each week I take a look at a different independent computer role-playing game. This week I'm taking a look back at a roguelite/RPG-lite from a few years ago. Developed by LLC Blinny Games and published by 1C Entertainment, Lovecraft's Untold Stories was released back in January of 2019. Lovecraft's Untold Stories is basically one of those twin-stick shooter-style roguelites with light RPG elements and character advancement in the form of equipable items and upgradable gear. It uses procedurally generated levels, has a central base area where you can view your various collectibles, and has a progress system towards unlocking the lore of various great old ones. In terms of plot, you start as a detective gone off to track down leads into the disappearance of an old friend. As you proceed through the game, however, you uncover the trail of various cults and the like, and also uncover other characters, each of which has their own story to pursue within the same overall universe, with the individual stories interacting, linked directly through the same base, and uncovering lore unique to each character's background. Characters don't have stats per se, but they do have health, which is reduced when they take damage, sanity, which is reduced when they uncover some secrets or horrific circumstances, as well as stamina, which is consumed when you do things like jumping or activating short-range special abilities. That recovers quickly over time. Characters can also be afflicted by a number of wounds or other injuries, from acid to poison to bleeding and more, which may reduce health or limit your character's movement and so forth. Many of these may be treated by certain consumables that you pick up during play, some you just have to bear with until they expire. Characters can also equip a number of items. They can equip up to 4 medical/consumable items and 1 explosive/special attack type, which varies depending on the character in question. They may also equip a number of accessories, armor, footwear, headwear, and so forth, once again varying from character to character, and they may boost your various attack ratings, your ability to recharge stamina, and so forth, or more often they just simply give you various resistances to certain attacks, such as resistance to electrical or fire attacks. Characters may also get weapon upgrades as well, which may vary by the amount of damage they do, the speed at which the weapon reloads, the shot pattern of the weapon in question, the number of shots before a reload is required, and so forth. There are 2 in-game currencies, money and information. Both are used at different merchants you can uncover during play. You can obtain them from interacting with objects or uncovering loot, but you may also uncover treasures, books, and so forth that you can sell at the respective merchant for their particular type of currency. Other things you may uncover during play include various health and injury treatments, sanity treatments, gear, quest items, and keys. There's several sorts of keys, each of which may be used to unlock its matching type of chest, and some items and quest items in the game may be used to unlock specific locks in a particular level. Gameplay is a very simple twin-stick shooter style and is highly compatible with a gamepad, which I do recommend playing with. You move around while aiming another direction with a mouse if you're using mouse and keyboard. Anytime you are aiming, you are effectively firing, and you may fire a certain number of shots before your weapon must be reloaded. Fortunately, under basic gameplay, the basic weapons are not limited in ammunition beyond this reload mechanic. You may also jump/roll to dodge attacks or to bypass certain obstacles, interact with various interactables and containers, use a smash attack to melee close creatures and to smash the background objects, and then you can toss your explosive/special weapon type, which you do have a limited number of. You will also get a mini-map that can be brought up at any time. Maps are procedurally generated with a single theme, be it a mysterious mansion, a hospital, or so forth, depending on the level. Each map may have a set of quests or sub-quests that go towards unlocking its boss and special areas, and there are a fairly large amount of objects that may be interacted with. This isn't always called for, however, for you never know when a book you read or a mysterious artifact that you examine may result in something beneficial or simply tax your sanity and health. One thing to note is that when you enter a room with enemies in it, the doors out of that room will be locked until you defeat the enemies therein. Once you unlock the boss, it's usually in a thematic boss arena and has set attack patterns as well as any twin-stick roguelike might represent. They are occasionally used with different phases and scripted attacks as well. After defeating the boss, you may then enter into a base which you unlock after the first level. The base is where you can view your information on items that you've unlocked, as well as the various clues you've accrued towards each of the great old ones. You may also store items here in a stash, which can occasionally be accessed from within a level at an appropriate stash access point, and then journey to the next level in your story. Graphically, Lovecraft's Untold Story uses a very tight, well-animated pixel art style. The interface is extremely straightforward, and I have to say that the art within each level is surprisingly atmospheric for what it is. Likewise, the story and sound design ties into the same overall look and feel, making it have a very much Lovecraftian style feel through and through. The writing is actually pretty decent as well, with the individual quests and flavor text uncovered during the game being well done and in theme. That's not to say that they're truly Lovecraftian like the original books, but they certainly fit into a sort of pop Lovecraft feel of the game at large, and really that's all that matters nowadays. However, this is somewhat offset by the procedurally generated nature of the entire game. There are a few games that take some otherwise decent elements from a genre and then suffer from making them conform to a roguelike playstyle, and Lovecraft's Untold Stories is one of those. The well-done pieces are scattered amongst procedurally generated levels set amongst a hub level that tries to tie them together, but doesn't quite work precisely. There's a lot of chaff to separate from the wheat. In this case, Lovecraft's Untold Stories ironically begins to suffer from the same sameness feel that the procedural generation of the levels lends to otherwise lovely and thematic pixel graphics, while the overall atmosphere of the game, while well done, does actually begin to wear on one after a while simply because of the amount of backtracking and back and forth within a particular level. To compound this, the twin-stick style feels like it needs to be slowed down a bit to properly suit the character's abilities. I wouldn't call the gameplay cumbersome by any means, but there's a certain deliberative nature to the reloading mechanics and the starting fire rates and the use of explosives and so forth that makes the game feel like it should be just a little bit less fast-paced compared to something like Enter the Gungeon or Binding of Isaac, where sometimes you really want to go through quickly. Now that doesn't mean the gameplay is bad by a long shot, but it certainly feels a little different from the classics in the genre. There's also the matter of no hard and fast stats to upgrade an eyeball, which doesn't necessarily disqualify it from the genre, but definitely puts it in an edge RPG case. I'm personally still counting it as an RPG, as it has exploration, NPCs to interact with, story to uncover, and different ways to develop each character through gear, if not through stats. Although I understand that some people may not accept that definition. On its own, Lovecraft's Untold Stories is not a bad game, not by a long shot, but it is a flawed one. And for once, not due to its actual execution, which is actually pretty good, but rather just due to the impact that the gameplay genre that it's being put into has on the story as it's being presented. And there is, in this case, a decent story. As you play the game, that story is told in bits and pieces that you uncover during play, but unlike some fragmentary storytelling methods that I do like, the randomized nature of things may require regular reviewing to begin to make the story make heads or tails. The charming graphics and the writing would probably have been better suited to a non-procedurally generated static game, and this is coming from someone who genuinely likes roguelikes of a variety of genres. Still, it is worth taking a look at it if you can find it on sale or as part of a bundle, which I did, and I'm actually looking forward a lot to seeing where the sequel is like. But for now, I'm going to wrap it up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my Indie Game Friday review of Lovecraft's Untold Stories. As always, a link will be provided below for where you can pick it up. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment if you got any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content, both tabletop and computer. Until next time, take care and goodbye. And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.